All right. Welcome to the BlabberMalt Show with your hosts, Dave and Matthias, two guys that blabber incessantly about beer, brewing, and bullcraft. Stick around while they brew up another tasty episode. Hey everybody, here we are, and Matthias is not here, even though we announced him at the beginning. But we got Tom Van Mospercy here and Jessica Ihms.
Hello.
Hey everybody.
Hello.
So this is episode 57 for April 30th, 2024. And we're super happy. We got a great show for you. Before we get too far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit us up on Facebook and YouTube and Spotify at the BlabberMalt Show and X, Instagram and Threads at BlabberMalt. And you can hit our Beacons link, has all those details. And you can also hit the Printify shop and get some swag. And nobody wore any swag today, but it's up there.
On.
Oh yeah, where's Maria? There she is.
There it is.
Woo.
Thanks for modeling.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go back here. All right, so what'd you guys do this weekend? We like to do a weekend update before we get started.
It's time to mash in.
We were out of town for a little bit, but got back in time on Saturday to actually go to the Medina Beer Fest.
Oh, that's right. How was that?
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Well attended, a lot of great beers.
Yeah, some pretty good weather
Oh,
for
yeah, it was
that.
beautiful. As usual, Medina Brewing ran out of their beers probably about 9:30.
Oh, yeah.
An hour before the thing was over.
How many beers were they pouring?
3 beers.
3 beers?
They had their new one, the Superior
Okay.
Cream Ale.
Oh, nice.
Their Cedarwood, which is the Cranberry Mule.
Yep.
Which is always a fan favorite. Men and women really enjoy that mule.
Yeah, that's cool. We had some birthday celebrations Friday and Saturday. 2 different friends had some birthdays. I was out at we were out at the Blue Sushi. What's that place called?
Yeah, Blue Sushi.
Blue Sushi. Had some sake. Don't like it. Not a fan.
Did you have it hot or cold?
It was cold.
Cold.
Yeah, it was
You could try
okay.
making your own.
You know, maybe I would like it better
Maybe it
if
would
I
be better.
understood the process a little bit. It wasn't milky. It was very, very milky, like the wheat beer of sake, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Not great. Not a big fan. So, all right. Jessica, anything fun?
I was a Jolly for a bit on Saturday. The Little Mountain home brewers from the east side were at Jolly. Did a little tour and
Cool.
had some fun. So it was great.
Nice. Sounds awesome. So let's
It's time for the blow-off.
talk about Jessica a little bit. Renowned home brewer, but now a professional brewer for Jolly Scholar. That's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. A little
Yeah.
different from the last time that I was here.
Yes, I know. We had an episode with Jessica, and we reviewed a lot of her home brews, got to taste a bunch. Really excited. Are you bringing any of those recipes to Jolly Scholar?
I am, yeah. In fact, the
Yeah.
first recipe I did at Jolly is my Kottbusser, which is a historical German beer. And
That's still on, isn't it?
It is still
Yeah.
on. Yep, it probably will be for a while. But that's one I've done on the homebrew system a number of times, won a number of medals with it. And I wanted to start with that at Jolly because it's super approachable, but different enough to get people in the door, get them intrigued. And it's a very kind of entry level weird beer, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. I have to say this: the last time that Jessica was on, we had some technical difficulties with the audio when we were at the studio. Still, there was our mics were not working, but there was a mic in the room somewhere that was picking us up, and it was really it was disappointing. I'm sorry about that.
That's
but,
okay. But
I think
we talked about electric brewing, and now you've benefited from our conversation.
yes, I
That's
did
great.
study a lot, and when you came in, we just took a brief tour out in the garage, and I, have done my first brew out there. It went okay. It's I need to get things organized and get them where you need them, and we're not quite there yet, but it's fun, and I appreciate you giving me all the tips And you did clue me into you use a lot of Spike brewing equipment,
I do, yeah.
and they seem like they're the ones to beat right now. They have a lot of good, just nice features to like all their equipment, their brew kettles and their pumps. I don't know if you saw their. I was going to talk about this later, but their new pump has a 3-inch tri-clamp where you take the whole pump head off it just with a tri-clamp, which is certainly better than the screws like I've been used to with the competitors' products. So.
Yeah, and they do a lot of kind of plug and play stuff on their equipment too, so you can customize it and mix and match a little bit. So you don't need to buy an all new system to kind of build up your own, which is great.
Yeah, I'm looking at their couple of their fermenters. I don't know. I have a SS Brewtech right now, which is working good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to really throw SS under the bus because they have some good equipment too. But Spike, they're the ones to beat right now, I think.
I would agree.
So, Jessica, can I ask you, going back to the historical German beer? I mean,
Sure.
So what makes it? What makes that style historical? I mean, what is it? The way it's being done, or is it the ingredients?
It's the ingredients. So if you think about the German Reinheitsgebot, the German purity law that says beer can only be grain, hops, water, and yeast, this particular beer predates the Reinheitsgebot. In addition to barley, it has wheat and oats, which were verboten at the time, and also a little bit of honey and molasses thrown in at flame out, just for a little complexity and dryness, mouthfeel. So due to the Reinheitsgebot, it just got kind of shunted to the side for centuries, and somebody kept it alive and kept the recipe available, or else I wouldn't have been able to find it. But yeah, that's the story.
You guys had posted something that wasn't the anniversary of that just recently. The
Reinheitsgebot? I'm honestly not sure.
I thought something had posted actually on Jolly Scholar's page.
So I think they were calling attention to the beer, probably, but that's entirely possible that we're celebrating the Reinheitsgebot as well.
We do every day here on the BlabberMalt Show. So you graciously brought some beers for us to try, some home brews.
I did.
Which one should we try first?
I would go with the Pawpaw Blonde.
Okay.
So I brought 2 beers that I did for an all-Ohio ingredient competition recently.
Fridge.
And the Pawpaw Blonde has not only pawpaws, but local malts, local hops. And that got a bronze in the all-Ohio competition. So
fantastic.
There's a Pawpaw Beer Festival that's in Ohio.
There's a Pawpaw Festival with a beer feature at it. So that takes place the 3rd weekend of September every year, just outside of Athens. And the beer offerings have been growing every year. I want to say there were more than a dozen last year. Mostly local to Athens, but a couple of Columbus and maybe even Cleveland breweries.
There used to be a Cleveland one that used to enter a lot of time that's no longer with us.
Yes. Thank you.
So what exactly is a pawpaw?
A pawpaw is Ohio's largest native tree fruit. So it looks a bit like a smooth-skinned avocado, light green, about the same size as an avocado. And if you slice it open, the flesh is kind of a pale orange, dark yellow, big black seeds, and it tastes a bit tropical. So you're going to taste like banana, pineapple, maybe some guava, and the consistency is kind of custardy, so you get a little bit of egginess off of it too.
Okay. Now, how much would you put in, and at what point?
I use it in secondary because it's pretty delicate. I don't want to throw it in when there's heat involved. So I use it in secondary. I think I use like 2.5 pounds for a 6-gallon batch.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
I mean, it definitely has a creamy sweetness at the end. It's not the front, but kind of an after.
Yeah, I think you get a little bit of that custardiness off the fruit too.
Yeah, right. It's in the mouthfeel for sure.
I saw, does this say 5.6%?
Yes.
Delicious.
Yeah, that's
you.
very good.
Thank you.
Do those fruits add any fermentables to it, do you think?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And pawpaw is interesting because it starts to ferment as soon as it falls off the tree. So that's why you don't see it in grocery stores. Pawpaws have to be frozen to, be kept and, travel. I buy mine in the fall from a local guy who grows pawpaws, Justin Husher. He's great. And pulp the pawpaws, and I freeze it until I need it. So,
Okay.
And you can buy it also from Integration Acres down in Athens. They have a massive pawpaw harvest every year, and they freeze the pulp, and brewers most often around here buy it from them.
So when you get the fruit, do you peel it or chop it or process
Scoop it out, much
Okay.
like you would an avocado. I cut it in half, scoop the pulp out, get rid
freeze
of the
it.
seeds, and freeze it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, this is great.
thank you. Cheers.
So now we got to talk with you about let's go to kind of the origin story of Jolly Scholar, and then we'll get into how you met them and how you connected. So, Jolly Scholar,
So,
campus of Case.
yeah, you would not expect to find a brewery on the campus of Case Western, but here we are. So our owner, Matt Van, is originally from Florida. I think he came up in 2005, and he kind of reversed the whole snowbird idea. You don't usually come up from Florida to Ohio
No.
to open a restaurant, but I think he had a college bar in Florida somewhere, and he was offered the chance to expand his model up to the campus of Case, and he jumped on that opportunity. So that was 2005, and they didn't start brewing until 2017. They initially opened with a one-barrel system with Aaron Wirtz from Planted Flag in Medina brewing on that. So we've now spun off a couple of brewers from the Jolly Brewer lineup. I think the brew house, which is in our basement under the kitchen, came later in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. There's a 7-barrel system in our basement, and we've gotten more fermenters over the years, but that's kind of the origin of the Jolly Brewing. Matt,
How big is the brew house now?
I think we have 8 fermenters, 2 brights.
Okay.
And are there still students brewing? I know one time that was the model that they had a while back when we used to go down there.
At one time, I know they offer a fermentation course. I don't think it's a major or a minor or anything like that, but they do offer a course. I think it may be affiliated with the chemistry department. But we do have student helpers every now and again. I think we had an intern.
Slave labor.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
I think we had
Future
a
brewers, come on.
Yes.
Apprenticeships.
training.
Scrub
the
those
future.
tanks, kids.
Wash those kegs.
Got to start somewhere.
You learn by doing, right? So that's how Jolly started out. Matt is a really great business guy. He always has a nose for opportunities. So he saw that, campus would, I think, welcome the brewery that he had in mind since probably Jolly's inception. So, and he does have a home brewing background. So he brought his restaurant knowledge and his brewing knowledge together.
Do
Jolly Scholar.
do they work in any business classes for like the the management of brewery and?
I believe they're involved somehow, but
Okay.
I don't have the details on that.
Okay, yeah, that'd be because that's a big part of getting into the brewing business. You're not just brewing beer; you're selling beer. So
Absolutely.
that would be
It's a whole
interesting.
business model. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Case, get on that if you're not already. So now let's fast forward. You, how did you get connected with these guys?
So I've known Matt since 2017. Jolly hosted our homebrew club, Snobs, for one of our nights out. So we always have a social night out. And late 2017, that happened to be Jolly. And I think Matt had somehow caught wind of me, probably through social media. And he liked what I was doing. So, again, I dabble in historical beers and kind of make up my own recipes. I'm playing out in left field most of the time when I brew. So he asked me to bring in some home brews, and again, he liked what I was doing, so we kind of just stayed in touch. We became friends, and probably late 2019 we started talking about doing something together professionally somehow. And early 2020 I was brought in to work on the one barrel system, so they still had the pilot system there. Excuse me. And he said, just come in and do whatever you want, whenever you want. Make up your own recipes, get as crazy as you want to. We'll figure out the rest. So late February 2020, I started brewing on the pilot system and got 2 test batches in. We all know what happened in March of 2020. So
Yeah.
obviously Jolly had to shut down, and that was the end of our experiment for the time being. So we started talking again last year. He said, I've kind of switched up my business model a little bit. I want you to come in and see what you can do on the big system now. So I am part-time at the brewery. We have a full-time brewer, TJ Grain, who is excellent. He does all the heavy lifting around the brewery. When I go in for a brew day, I'm mostly in his way, so I try to give him his space. So TJ is an excellent brewer. He does a bunch of classical styles, really well to the T. He knows his way around the brew house inside and out. So TJ and I complement each other in that I'm doing recipes of my own making and doing historical styles. So we're kind of bringing our 2 strengths together. So I'm designing recipes. He's executing them really well. In fact, that cup booster, that was my first recipe, won a medal in the Best of Craft Beer competition last month.
Congrats.
So,
Yeah, I
very
heard about
excited
that.
about
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome. So you're just kind of helping to mix things up and just
Exactly.
bringing another pair of eyes and a fresh perspective
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
brewery. Yeah, yeah.
So
How many beers do they usually have on tap there?
we've got 24 taps, and all but 4 are ours right now. We have 1 guest tap. That is the Tequila Sunrise beer from Blue Monkey, I believe.
Oh, okay.
3 ciders.
How many of your beers do they have right now?
Just the cup booster right now.
Okay.
I just did a collab with Blue Monkey, Railroad, and Four Paws Red Wagon that should be on tap late May. Right now
Okay.
we have a release party scheduled for May 29th. So
Was that the part of the Pink Boots?
no,
thing?
it's not. So
Okay.
the idea came on our Pink Boots brew day, but we got back together
Okay.
a couple Saturdays ago and did that beer. It's going to be a grape sour. So
Ooh, sounds
looking
good.
forward to seeing how that comes out.
Okay. Did you just brew with grapes or put it on the must? Or?
It's going to be in secondary, so we're
Okay.
getting a grape puree from one of the fruit purveyors, and
Wow.
we'll use that in secondary.
Sounds
Should be
good.
a fun beer.
That sounds good.
It's going to be a Philly sour.
Yeah. Where's that being brewed?
So we brewed
Is
it at Jolly.
At Jolly?
It's going to
Okay.
be on tap at all 4 of our places. So
Nice.
Four Paws, Red Wagon, Railroad, Blue Monkey, and Jolly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good group of breweries right there. Love them all. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Three of them were female brewers, so
Yeah.
that's pretty great.
Yeah. I haven't met the brewer at Railroad yet, but looking forward to
That's
getting
Sarah
in there.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't think she has a brew house right now, so she's kind of making the rounds until that brew house gets opened up.
Yeah. They're going to be open this summer, I think.
I think so
I
too.
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Fingers
Looking forward
crossed.
to that.
Yep.
So you didn't quit your full-time job. You're just kind of
Sadly, no.
just doing 2 full-time jobs now.
I have 1 3/4 jobs probably. So yeah, my day job's in banking.
Yeah.
No way to give that up right now.
No,
Unfortunately.
that's a common
It's usually a
theme.
common theme, yeah.
Common theme
Yeah.
with these brewers. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's
But you actually have 3 then, because you're still home brewing and competitively,
This
right?
is true. Yes.
That can be, and I'm sure Dave, you can say that's a full-time job.
that's a full-time job too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days of the week
The
at
thing
least.
about home brewing is you can brew what you want whenever you want, but it kind of sounds like you have that relationship with Jolly Scholar too.
Pretty
Just
much.
scale
Yeah.
it up and
I have a lot of leeway, and it's really great.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So really, my objectives with Jolly are to bring more people into the brewery, since it's one of the hardest to find places in Cleveland.
hmm
So it's-
participate in more festivals. So 2 festivals we have coming up during the Grand Slam Beer Fest at Progressive Field on June 29th. Our beer will be there. And the inaugural Broadview Heights Beer Fest, and that is on July 27th.
Okay.
So
Nice.
getting involved more there and competing more. So as a home brewer, I'm very competitive. I like entering my beers in all sorts of competitions. Got a wall full of medals to show my work.
Yeah.
So I hope to continue that with Jolly and get us some more hardware.
There's a couple big home brewery competitions coming up right now, isn't there? I think I saw something.
There's the National Homebrew Competition that's coming up. I think that's June or July.
Yeah, I think the deadline for entering is already passed.
I think so too. Yeah. I was a little busy to
Yeah,
enter
you're a little
that.
busy
One of the
to
other
enter those,
jobs,
yeah.
right.
Sometimes I have to choose between the jobs,
Yeah. So now, when you're looking at your recipes that you've homebrewed, what is at the top of the list to bring to Jolly Scholar and roll out to the public?
Probably more historical beers. I've had a lot of success with a London Brown, which is a historical beer. That is, unlike a typical English brown, it's a little bit thicker and a little bit sweeter. So it's not a style that you find very often. I think it would scale up really well on Jolly systems, so I'd like to try that. I do a Dutch beer called a Coit that's heavy on oats. Again, super approachable, very drinkable, probably a great summer beer. I'd like to try that. Something we have coming up is we're going to condition our wheat beer on chamomile and peaches. That's a beer that I had great success with last year for our Big Brew Day, actually. So Snob do a Big Brew Day it's the first Saturday in May. We start out with a kind of a blank slate wort that Terrestrial Brewing does for us. Everybody takes 5 gallons home, and they all do something different with it. So I took it home and just did a really simple treatment of peach puree and chamomile, and it turned out great. So we're gonna scale that one up.
So we can look forward to those coming up, Jolly Scholar, soon.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Is there space in the brew schedule where you're going to slot these in?
Yes, we do not have a rigorous brew schedule. I mean, it's TJ and I and Levi, who's our operations director. I work closely with those two to see what we want to roll out and when. If we want to brew for specific festivals or anything that's coming up. So we're very flexible.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
I've noticed you mentioned oats a couple times in the recipe. So, I mean, is that more of a historical? I'm trying to think if there's any beers I've ever had that might, I mean, other than oatmeal stout, which I'm assuming has oats in it.
It does, yes.
But are there other beers that are, kind of the lighter style and what profile does an oat bring to that?
Oats typically bring more mouthfeel, so they're kind of oily, so they bring a heaviness to a beer. So if you think of an oatmeal stout, it's going to thicken up that body, give it a more robust mouthfeel. In the case of a beer like the Coit that's heavy on oats, that fell out of favor because the price of oats changed, and oats went toward horse farmers rather than brewers. So it went to those who could afford it. So that's why that particular style fell out of favor. So
oats might be the beer
could be
of
the wave
kings.
of the future and the
Yeah.
past.
The king of beers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times the different grains, historically, if you wanted to brew something like, well, I can't really get barley, I'll try this, and stuff just got thrown in. Like with saisons, it's like, well, what do we grow here? Let's put some spelt in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put some oats in, and that's how, just if it's good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, if it sucks, stop.
Next.
Yeah, try something else.
Exactly.
We've got some other beers here. What's next? What should we try next?
It's another Ohio beer. I call it Ohio Kitchen Sink because it's everything but the kitchen sink. So it's a beer fermented with apple cider and honey.
Ooh.
So you've got elements of beer, hard cider, and mead in there.
Nice. I bet Todd Donnelly likes that one. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's jealous.
And this particular one was fermented with a wild yeast that was harvested by Tyler Johnson, who's a fellow homebrewer. and he won the All Ohio contest with it last year with one of his beers. So it brings a tiny bit of funk to the table,
It does. Oh, that's good.
but it's
I
not
really
overly
like that.
funky like, a heavy saison. It's got a little bit of terroir, as I like to call it.
It almost has it's like an apple tea to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. That's
I get some
enjoyable.
apple
yeah.
on the nose. Thank you. The honey dries it out a little bit, so it's pretty refreshing.
Oh, that's probably what the teas, the honey. Yeah. Okay.
So how did he harvest that yeast? Just
He got
his
something from his
yard?
yard. So, yeah, if you go to harvest wild yeast, your best bet is to make a tiny batch of wort like you would a yeast starter for a home brew. Go out and harvest something from outside because there's yeast everywhere on everything. Stick it on the wort, see if it ferments, see if it smells and tastes
tastes good.
Right, exactly.
If not, next.
throw it out. Yeah, try it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's a winner. Yeah.
So it was an interesting beer to make. First time I've tried that one. So I think I'd make it again.
I think you should.
I
Yeah.
think I'd use that yeast again too.
Yeah,
What's the
I like
ABV
it.
on this one?
Sorry?
What's the ABV on this?
5. Anybody have the bottle?
What's this in? Is it 5?
5.4.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that's right in the neighborhood there. So the other thing we like to ask when brewers come on is, the vision for the brewery and how those beers that you brew connect to the local area. And I think it's interesting since you're on a college campus. I mean, there's new kids coming in; they have different tastes. The younger generation, they say they're not drinking beer as much. So, what do you hear, and how do you try to connect with these sober, curious people?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm not sure if that's my area of
Sober curious.
expertise.
I like that.
I would like to try some more low alcohol beers. So low alcohol beers are a great challenge because you have to wring out a ton of flavor. Say you're shooting for 3.5 ABV, somewhere in that neighborhood. I know that doesn't qualify as sober curious, but work with me.
Well, it's a session beer,
It's very sessionable, right? So
Compared to some ABC beers, that's really low. That's a third.
Gotcha, Matthias. That'll teach you.
right. So I think that's my next big challenge for myself, at least. Brewing these very low alcohol beers that you can just sit and have a bunch of, or just have one of and call it a day.
We've had some great experience actually with now 2 beers that have probably been in the 3%. They all seem to be this English bitter style.
Right.
The best bitter. No.
And the one we had at Eighth Day was, he called it second coming because he takes it and
Also like a party guile style.
the rest of the
Second
bottom
runnings.
of the batch, he keeps that and does it one more time.
First
it's-
runnings and second runnings.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was the flavor, the malt, but it's low alcohol.
Right.
And
That's a great
we had
example.
Bottle House did one called the Dale, which was the same thing. It was just a malt forward, delicious beer. If you like the taste of beer, you're gonna love it. And it was only like 3.2%.
Right.
It's
So
I think it's a great. It's a cool thing. I mean, you love the 9 and 10% hazies and the ones that you can't taste the alcohol, but to get that flavor and only get the 3%, I'm sure you're getting a lot of calories still, but that's okay.
That's okay.
less than a 10% beer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, you go into a brewery and, you like to have I'd like barley wines and, the double IPAs, but I also like to drink a lot of beer. So I gotta find those beers, start with the DIPA and then, find the mild and the,
The
good
bitters.
tasting beers with the lower alcohol, and you can just keep drinking. Yeah.
Right. So
Good times.
I feel like I could formulate some low alcohol, high flavor beers
Yeah.
for Jolly
Yeah.
and do really well with those.
Nice. So that's how we're going to get those kids.
Hook them on that.
Get them drinking.
Now, I probably missed it. And since this is your second time here, though, was there a question about your gateway beer already? Has that already been answered?
We did that, but let's do it again.
Oh, I can't remember what I said last time.
Yeah, we're going to test you. Go back.
We'll check
and look.
footage.
So right after college probably is when I started really liking craft beer, and that was the era of Sam Adams, Boston Lager, Pete's Wicked.
Oh yeah, love Pete's Wicked.
So yeah, that was the late '90s.
Is
So
that
you
still
can.
around? Pete's Wicked?
I don't
even
think
know.
so.
I don't
I don't
think
think
so. It's been a
so.
I
while.
think so. Obviously, Sam Adams is. They've gone the distance. But those
Yes, they have.
were probably my craft beer.
That's a long shot. Do you think they really went that long?
Tell you about that? Bring it up every episode, the long shot. So sorry.
All right, so that was.
You have every right to brag about that. You knock
I
yourself
will ride that till my grave.
forever.
Yeah, forever.
So yeah, that's when I really started loving craft beer, and Crooked River from Cleveland was around at that time. So
Yeah. Great Lakes, Fathead soon after. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's
Nice.
that's what sent me down the craft beer rabbit hole, I guess.
Yeah. Very good. All right, let's move on to.
It's time for the
So, I'd like to talk about a little homebrew happenings. Last week we talked about my home brewery. You know, finally got to a point I said, hey, I could do a brew. So I brewed an American wheat, kind of like, like Oberon. But, hey, dog's going to pull out the cables. A little hoppier Oberon. I do it every summer and call it Bottle Rocket Wheat, Bottle Rocket Ale,
Great
whatever.
summer beer.
Yeah, it's a good, easy drinking summer beer with just a little bit more hops. And brew day went pretty good. I have to get a little bit more organized. Things are in totes, and I'm searching around for this or that. But we're getting to the point.
First time in a new place, right?
Yeah, it was.
Your mise en place isn't quite happening yet.
No, not quite. I had my buddy Jason Hendricks, who's just getting into home brewing, came out just to check it out. So we, had a good day, fun day, just talking beer, drinking beer, brewing beer, doing all the things.
It's a good day.
Yeah, it was a great day, and it's right in the garage. So unlike when I brewed at the storage condo, I got to go check on the beer. You got to get in the car, drive there just to check the gravity, and then it's 5 minutes and you're back home. So this is great. You just go out in the garage, check the gravity, come back in. It's awesome. Plus, you can go out with the electric system. You just turn on the element, and it heats the HLT right to where you want it. Holds it there. It's great. You go back in, get a cup of coffee. It's pretty awesome.
It's beautiful.
Now, is there an app so that you can adjust it from your phone and stuff, or no?
I could do that. It's an add-on costs. I mean, that would be silly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. So, get the space more organized, and it'll go a little bit smoother. I got that sink out there, which makes it super easier to clean the kettles before you're kind of scrubbing them on the ground. Got them laying on the ground, and your back's going out. But this is set it right up there. You can reach in there, squirt it out. It's beautiful.
That's
But
fantastic.
you know all about that with that setup you got.
I do. I actually have to haul my kettles up the basement stairs to hose mine down.
Oh
so
no.
that-
May not be coming up to ABC. There was I don't know the full name, but
We're kind of back, folks. We're just recording this, and we're gonna edit it and put it together later. Facebook is down, YouTube's down. I don't know, internet problem in general. So we're talking about LBC breweries or beers.
beers, yeah. So
Yeah.
we had the chance to be down in Medina when we were down there for the beer fest. Stopped by at Medina Brewing, and we were able to try 2 new beers. I know one of them Matthias has talked about, which was a habanero, blackberry habanero Congo. So it's a
Okay.
Congo habanero.
He was saying that one was pretty hot.
It was hot. So
Yeah.
we tried it. It was definitely hot. For me, I wanted a little more beer, but it was hot. It was hot. The other one, which was a pineapple mango, that was delicious.
Okay.
It was so smooth. You could just taste the fruit. That one I really enjoyed.
Okay.
The
Nice.
2. And then, of course, I mentioned at the beer fest, he was pouring the Superior Cream Ale, which I think might be coming up to ABC pretty soon. I know it's going to be an LBC beer for sure, named
Yeah.
after one of the ships that was built out at the shipyards.
Was that the one we had a preview of?
Yes.
At one of the shows? Yeah. It
It
was
did have that cream ale.
2 weeks ago or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we had we were drinking Little Kings and Mickey's Big Mouth.
I think I saw that one.
We
Yeah.
we had Billy Morris on, and that was his request. So
Nothing wrong with that.
Avon's was way better, way
good.
better.
So, yeah, of course, I mean, I'm sure there'll be, usually there's a beer release possibly this Thursday at ABC. We'll see if there's
Okay.
someone this week or not. I know his Midwest IPA, the
Oh, yeah.
experimental one.
Yeah,
that
that's
we're
good.
trying, that is on tap at ABC.
Yeah,
So that's a new one that he's been trying to get out there and get a feel for. And I know he was calling it Experimental 1, and there might be more to come after that.
yeah, that was a good beer. By the way, we have some Mickeys and some Little Kings if you want one.
Dessert.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
great.
But talking about new beers, though, here's another one that
Yeah, we just poured this while we
Jessica
were.
made.
Yeah, so apparently
Troubleshooting.
I lied the first time. So this is number 2 of the kitchen sink. The first version was with Kveik yeast. So I split the batch. I fermented half on Kveik yeast, and this is the one with the wild yeast.
What is Kaviki?
So it is a Norwegian farmhouse yeast. There are many different strains these days, but it kind of grew up organically from Norwegian farmhouses doing their own beers and using yeast that grew up in the area.
Okay.
And a lot of the strains are known for being heat tolerant and fast fermenting. And some of the strains give you a really nice fruity profile. So depending on the strain, you could have a really nice beer in a few days.
Wow. And then this is the wild yeast
This
that
is
you're
the
talking
wild
about from the
yeast.
person's backyard.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So you
Both very good.
get a tiny bit of funk off of it, but for a wild yeast, I think it's super clean.
I've had a lot funkier things than this that I've not cared for.
I've had like way
That's what she
funkier-
said.
I've had way funkier saisons, so this is
This is very
pretty clean.
clean.
And I like
I
that
would
they.
even say smooth. I mean, it's
I think
Yeah, it's very good
you
too.
get some of the apple. You get a little idea of the honey, even though the sweetness is fermented out.
Yeah, we talked about. I was trying to up my Pilsner game. I've done lagers with these yeast. Picked a cleaner one, and yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not a Pilsner. It's I mean, you can get them to ferment clean, but not that clean.
Right. Yeah. Some
So,
things you still need a lager yeast for.
Yeah. All right. Just thinking about my next brew days. Going to be brewing a lot this summer.
you have to calm me down.
Now that you can roll right out
Don't
your.
call me literally 10 minutes before you're starting to brew.
I know. Because I'm going to need some pot cleaners. Tom's perfect.
I'm good at that.
Perfect. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Oh, do we have any Lorraine Brewery passport updates? Are we in the planning stages?
We're in the talking stages.
Okay.
Actually, at the Medina Beer Fest, there was a couple folks down there that Matthias and I did kind of talk to about it that had actually heard from the show about it.
Cool.
Ghost Tree and just talking about all the possibilities of it. So again, if everything goes as planned, we'll start really getting deeper into it maybe this fall and hope to kick it off sometime in the spring of 2025.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, Tom's been tapped as the grand poobah for the
That's exactly what I said.
for the Lorraine Brewery passport. So he's the go-to guy.
Sweet.
Which again, it's exciting with the number of breweries, and I keep
Yeah.
kind of forgetting how many there are. It seems every time I make a list, I leave one off and
Yeah.
have to add it on. There's a good number. It's actually going to be a little bit larger than the Medina
Yeah.
passport
Yeah.
as far as locations
Yeah.
and stuff.
Man, that's bad for my liver. So many passports.
So many
Which,
passports.
I mean,
So many
So little
passports.
talking about
time.
passports, though, I mean, so Jolly Scholar is on the
We are on Destination
on
Cleveland.
the Cleveland,
Yeah.
their passport, and both locations, right? You can get check-ins at, I believe, the
Yes.
North Royalton one as well as the Case one.
Yep. Just come and drink our beer. Doesn't matter where.
Yeah, we just got stopped at Polpo and got our check-in there. Yeah, we're up to 12. 13. Yeah. Lucky 13, yeah. So working our way through it. You guys are, you got to be close to 20.
We're probably about 27.
Wow. I got some work
Way
to
to
do.
go. Yeah, got some catching up.
Slacker.
Man. All right.
Too
so
busy brewing.
I know. Too busy brewing and drinking beer at home. So World Beer Cup last week. We have some winners in the area.
Yeah.
I mean, Fathead's cleaned up. They had a couple golds. I love that Bonehead Red. That got a gold. Goggle Fogger. That's a good one.
That's always good.
It's a fantastic
Man.
beer.
That other one, they won Dunkelastius. A Dunkelweizen or a Dunkel?
I think it's a
Silver?
Dunkelweizen.
Dunkelweizen? Yeah.
That's a very good style. I like that style, actually.
Yeah.
It's not one you find very often.
Is that only, that's not, they're not canning that, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'd like to try that.
But I believe their Gogglefogger beat out an actual German brewery for the Hefeweizen category.
Haha, take that, Germany. Fatheads for the win. Yeah, they make good beer. What's that? Forget it. I can't think of the name of the beer.
From Fatheads?
From Fatheads. Alpenglow.
Alpenglow.
Oh my God, dude, I love that beer. That's good.
It's a really good
It's a
one.
malty deliciousness. Anyways, yeah. So also Masthead, their jalapeno IPA won a silver.
Well deserved.
That's a solid beer too. Yeah. Need a better name than jalapeno IPA. I mean, come on.
Says it all.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Self-explanatory.
Market Garden, their Prosperity Wheat got a bronze. That's a good beer. I like that beer
Excellent.
too. Yeah. Who else? Who else won? What other breweries?
There was someone near the Dayton area. Loose Ends, maybe?
Sounds right. There was a Columbus.
Gamut in Columbus. won
Yeah,
for
just
their
this little beer
Dortmunder.
garden, their Dortmunder style.
I
Yeah.
highly recommend Gamut. I really like it there.
Yeah.
It's,
That's the name of the brewery?
yes, Gamut.
It's outside
I
of
think
Columbus?
it's happy or contented, something like that in German. It's a converted firehouse. It's a really beautiful building, and they're doing some just clean, classic German styles. Great beer garden out back. Awesome in great weather.
Nice. To get down there. There's a lot of breweries I haven't been to. I got to check out. So, yeah, World Beer Cup. We have some winners in
Northeast Ohio.
Cleveland. Yeah, for sure. Local happenings. Any beer events coming up? I can't even. Just competitions.
There is, I think in a week from Saturday, I want to say there's the Maitag Fest. That is the benefit for the Ben Franklin Community Garden in Old Brooklyn, I believe.
Okay.
This is the second year. I volunteered for this last year. It was a lot of fun. The weather wasn't great last year, so I hope they have a better turnout this year. I don't know who all's pouring, but it's a great benefit. Ben Franklin Garden is a huge community garden, benefits a lot of people. So, go check that out if you want to have something to do next Saturday.
Sounds good. Sounds awesome. We'd like to talk about music events. I wish Matthias was here. We didn't talk about Tim McGraw. Was in Youngstown. Was it Cavelli Center last weekend?
Oh, he's in Pittsburgh.
He was in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was
Thinking of
Cavelli.
Judas Priest.
Oh, yeah. Judas Priest was in Cavelli. But that's Tim McGraw. That's Matthias, 100%. 100%.
100%.
He does like that country.
Okay. Sonic 67, got to mention them again. That's Howard Ross's band. They're going to be at the Fairview Tavern May 18th. He sent me over some, pre-mixed songs. They were great. I mean, great songwriting. I'm going to go check them out.
That's a possible road trip, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A mini remote show from there, maybe?
Oh, what? It's a power trio. We got room here. Club Radon. Holy schmolies. That would be awesome. All right, so email us any questions, concerns, corrections you have for us, blabbermalt@gmail.com. We didn't get any questions this week, but we'd be happy to answer or correct anything. I'm sure we've made hundreds of mistakes. Did we have another beer we're going to get to before the end? Did we?
I think that's all I have.
And there's a little bit more of this. You want this? There's the kitchen.
Oh,
So I mean, you brought the three beers, yeah.
Yeah, apparently I bought 3, but
That's okay. Thank you
Hey,
so much
that's
for
good.
sharing.
got more than we bargained for, I guess.
Yeah.
so coming up on the BlabberMalt Show, we're still trying to nail down a couple breweries. We'd like to get back out to your location. We couldn't. We had,
Had a
there
little
was
change of plans today.
some change of plans. There was some protests going on, and we didn't want to, disrupt anything going on down there. So we're gonna wrap it up here a little bit. But before we go, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials. Hit us up on that Beacons link. It'll give you all the details on the socials, and you can get to the Printify shop and buy some swag.
Get your swag, yeah. Get your shirts,
Yeah.
hats, coffee mugs.
Oh, is Maria showing up?
She's my-
Thank you.
Yeah. Is she Taylor Swifting? No? Okay. All right, we got to get out of here.
All right.
Stay malty, Cleveland.